absolute ridiculous overreach of the American judicial system. It was an absolute ridiculous overreach of the British judicial system to put people in jail for Facebook messages. And it's an absolute ridiculous overreach of the Romanian judicial system to lock me in my house for 3 years and then have the case thrown out because they made up the victims, because it was all completely fake. Please understand, in any other country, which isn't so corrupt, prosecutors would be in jail for what they did to me here. You can't just make up victims and make up papers and print out lies and put people in jail.
Andrew Tate defeats the woke matrix yet again and rubs his victory right in this woke newscaster's face. In this clip, as Andrew Tate has won another case in court against the globalists who want to keep men and masculinity down so they can control them, and this soy boy still tries to attack Andrew Tate even after admitting the truth. Let's get in.
You have not been convicted of any crimes. That is the only fact that we know for sure.
Yeah, and that's a very important fact, because if we keep in mind I was enemy number one of the system, I was the most Googled man on the planet, that federal agencies from 3 different countries, America, UK, Germany, Poland, Romania, 5 different countries have investigated me, that I've handed over all of my electronics. If I had done anything, if I had smoked weed, if I had taken steroids, if I had gone to an orgy, if I had had a homosexual experience, if I had done anything, all of these things would be all over the paper. And what do they have on me? Nothing. I'm cleaner than 99% of the people you walk past in the mall. Because if anyone else had their lives investigated to the level mine's been, you'd see a whole bunch of skeletons in their closet. I haven't done anything. I raise my children. I work hard. I train hard. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I haven't done anything. And they're very disappointed by how clean my life is. And that's the truth, because they have been desperate to put me in a cell, desperate. And they've given the NCA, Operation Moonwalk, Britain, as broke as it is, dedicated hundreds of thousands of pounds to trying to put me in jail, as if they don't have other things to pay for, as the streets of London run with blood. They have tried so hard and they are failing. I am an innocent man. It is not that hard to put a guilty man in jail.
Final question. You've talked before about having a relationship of kind with some of the Trump family. Have you heard from any of them recently?
No, I think they've got much bigger concerns than my cases. I don't think they're very interested in any of my cases. I've always been a Trump fan. I think he's, the best choice for America. I think he's doing a fantastic thing. But they're not interested in trying to help me in any way. When I went to America, when I first got released from Romania, I didn't hear from them either. So I haven't heard from them, but I think that perhaps a lot of Republicans understand, because of what happened to our great president, that the legal systems are very often weaponized by the enemies of truth to attack people who have done nothing wrong. Remember, Trump himself went through a whole bunch of bogus legal cases. Trump himself was actually convicted. I haven't even been convicted. Trump himself was convicted of all these stupid allegations and heinous crimes on very little evidence. So I think most functioning people now understand the legal system can be weaponized. And they understand that what's happening to me is very clearly lawfare. I'm very clearly a victim of a corrupt system, because I'm speaking the truth against the matrix. And anybody with a functioning mind can see that.
Well, it remains to be seen whether any of what you just said is correct. What we do know with Donald Trump, actually, just to be technically correct, he wasn't convicted of anything other than one set of charges relating to a one-night stand with a porn star, which I thought at the time was utterly ridiculous overreach against a president of the United States who had only recently been in office, and made a mockery of the justice system in America. The other cases, as we know, they are no longer active. They were discontinued. But that particular one that they convicted him of, I thought was a complete farce.
Absolute ridiculous overreach of the American judicial system. It was an absolute ridiculous overreach of the British judicial system to put people in jail for Facebook messages. And it's an absolute ridiculous overreach of the Romanian judicial system to lock me in my house for 3 years and then have the case thrown out because they made up the victims, because it was all completely fake. Please understand, in any other country, which isn't so corrupt, prosecutors would be in jail for what they did to me here. You can't just make up victims and make up papers and print out lies and put people in jail.
Let me ask you a question. Just talking to you today, you sound very calm, very direct, completely different to how you were in our last interview, where you started ranting quite regularly about all sorts of stuff. And at the end of it, we got into it about your views about women's place in society. You said they should have no right to vote, they should have no power, they should not have any job, they should stay at home, and so on. And I got a lot of feedback to that, which was, whatever you think of Andrew Tate, whether you think he's guilty or not of these charges, and we just don't know yet because they're still ongoing. But whatever you think of him, he does himself absolutely no favors in the way that he talks about women. And he does it so brazenly and with such apparent pride. You know, when you think back to our last exchange, are you entirely comfortable with the way that you talked about women in that interview?
Absolutely. I think you just misunderstand me. Women are very powerful creatures. In fact, they're magical creatures because they give life. And a woman's power is to give life and to be a feminine woman who is the head of a beautiful family and to have as many children with the man she loves as possible. That is what women are fantastic at. That is what society needs. Our birth rates are collapsing. And that's what inspires men to be their best selves. When men see they have a wife who's had their children, that makes a man want to be a good man for that woman. I never said women are powerless. I said that protecting society is the job of men. Police officers should be men, and that the voting and the political matters and the judicial system, a lot of that should be men, because we're evolutionarily designed to protect territory in a way that females perhaps aren't. And it's our job to protect women. We're not trying to protect ourselves. A man's trying to protect his wife, protect his kids, protect his society, protect his town. And I think that the reason that the Western societies are in such trouble now is that everything is conflated. The men are doing the things that women are actually good at innately, and the women are doing things that the men are innately good at. I believe we have God-given talents, and I believe if we all stick to what we're naturally good at, it will optimize our society. It's not a matter of hating women, Piers. It's not a matter of saying that women have no power. It's not a matter of trying to subjugate women at all. It's a matter of protection. It's a matter of me understanding as a man, I have certain duties and certain jobs to do. And I believe a woman has certain duties and certain jobs to do. And that's why I have so many fantastic relationships with women. That's why I have so many children. That's why I take care of them so fantastically and keep them safe. That's why they look up to me and admire me and love me. If I was truly a misogynist, I wouldn't be suffering from all of these offspring and all of these beautiful relationships, which I have. So I think it's just a matter of misunderstanding.
I think Piers is still more on the women's side because you can just hear it in how he describes everything that's happening to Andrew Tate. Like, all we know is that nothing has actually gone through on this one. But, you know, if you remove the context, and like Andrew Tate points out, they've tried again and again and again, fabricated evidence. Like, all of this is done by the same engine in the background, by the same people who don't want any any strong male figure out there showing that you can overcome anything they throw at them. They don't want Andrew Tates, they don't want Donald Trumps, they don't want Charlie Kirks. You know, like, they don't want anything like that. No, they want men to be subservient and basically do as you're told and not speak out. But it's just absolutely not working. But to still come on and try to attack Andrew Tate for his views on women, it's like, you know, all the problems with women now, all of those are because you stopped protecting women. Like, women started to go on their own, they do their own thing. And now all sorts of problems and, you know, other ailments are begrudging them. And what did you think was going to happen? Like, if you don't protect them, then they're not protected. So if women want to complain about men and be afraid of men and all this, well, this is what you wanted. This is the world that you created. You wanted to be away from men. Well, you're the one who put men on the other side of the line, when before they were protecting you from everything else. But let me know in the comments if you think Piers is completely missing the plot on this one, and hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the membership page for more, and let's get back in.
Talking, I just reminded that this weekend the England women's rugby team became world champions, and I watched that game. I don't think they need any help from you, and I don't think they need any guidance about what a woman's place in the world should be. They're world champions because they play a sport at a supremely elite level. I watched it and could not believe the staggering amount of skill and power and pace on display in a women's rugby match, and that's to their great credit. So they shouldn't all be kept at home, because actually that's not what most women want to do. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Andrew Tate, I appreciate you coming back on Uncensored. I will follow, as I said to you, I will follow the facts, and if they change, they change. I will keep talking to you, and we'll see where it all leads.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Before we go, can I just ask a very simple question? I'm curious as to your input, because I do consider you a professional who knows a lot about the world. Do you agree there's something very suspicious about the criminal cases involving me? Just suspicious. Do you think something strange has happened?
Well, I don't think it even matters what I think about it. I think what matters is, have you, at the moment, been convicted of any crime? People say, why do you platform Andrew Tate? And I said, why shouldn't I? They said, because he's a criminal. He's an abuser. He's this, and this. And I say, well, actually, as things stand, he has not been convicted of any of those crimes. He's been accused by a lot of people. But the significance of today is that a whole police case against you in one police force has, from a criminal perspective, been dropped. They said the evidence didn't reach the bar for criminal prosecution. That is noteworthy. That's why I've got you on today to discuss it, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, like Andrew Tate just pointed out, like, is there anything suspicious? Like, I find it funny that Piers can see the context of what happened to Donald Trump and see that all of these criminal cases that were fake was weaponizing the justice system on one hand, right? He can see that there, but he doesn't see any of that happening to Andrew Tate. He doesn't see the same engine at work. He doesn't see the same, red flags in all the cases, the fake this, the fake that. He doesn't see the same thing. Like, how much more obvious can it possibly be? But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what Andrew Tate had to say in this declaration of once again defeating the woke matrix and proving Piers wrong again. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.